I asked for 50 shares.
I know. You asked for that a lot.
I asked for that a lot. I asked for 50 shares. And guess what? I got 70 shares. So I got to give a hand clap to my team, to all of you out there. Now think about it. If everybody who came on, out of 400 people, if everybody came on, I should easily be able to get 200 shares, even if half of you shared the program. And some of you I know, and I saw you, some of you went back and you shared it more than once. So all of you who did that, I appreciate you doing that. This is how you can share right away. Go down to the left-hand part of your device, your phone or your iPad, and you'll see a button that says share. It might be on the right-hand side, but it's in the corner. So go down in the corner and hit and then share with your friends. It'll say share with my friends. And you can share this broadcast that's going on right now. You can share it with your friends. And trust me, they'll be blessed. And they'll love that you invited them into this circle. I love how you guys are flowing with us. I mean, it was such a beautiful community thing when people were, making these comments, and it was so valuable. Like what they were giving was so insightful about the subject matter that we were talking about.
Absolutely. I really enjoy that part of the show.
Yes. And we both were trying to comment back and forth. And then you all, this is what was so powerful as well. We actually got over 1,200 views on the video. Now that is incredible.
Wow.
In fact, we had almost 1,000 views within a 3-day period. So it just shows that you guys have, actually it was like 900. So you guys have really gotten to a place where you are spreading the word. We love that you're doing that. We love that you're looking forward to it. As you know, these shows, they take a lot of work and a lot of time. And so it's always valuable to hear your feedback. I got a testimony of one person who actually talked to me directly and said to me, and I heard that online as well, but said to me that really that the program, when they heard it, it was dealing with their anger, and they've been dealing with anger all their life.
Yes.
And that they were so appreciative. They were in tears, just saying to me how this whole subject matter that we came up with, the metaphor of a mask of anger,
absolutely,
how it ministered to their life, how it blessed them. And I mean, to this person's heart, they were just like so heartfelt and said, I don't know about anybody else, but this program, what you're doing with Advice for Life, has been a blessing in my life, and I thank you for it. So
yeah, I got random hugs too. That was awesome. It was really awesome.
So random hugs. So we were supposed to be doing a caller today, but I think that when we tried to do the technical part, it was not working, and so I don't know, Greg. I need you to. So if we're not going to do that, Greg, if we're not going to do the call, why don't you welcome the Facebook audience first, and then we will have to work on that next week. So some of you, let me just tell you what we were going to do. Yeah. We were trying to get on the line. As you remember, a couple weeks ago, we talked to Lisa, and Lisa had a lot of issues that she was presenting about her relationship with her husband, and we ministered to her, we counseled her, we gave her advice. And then what happened was her husband said that he was willing to come on. And as I say, the Bible says that the first one that comes to give their story always seems to be right.
Right.
But the other comes and they correct the matter.
Absolutely.
Which means every time you hear a story from somebody, that's their perspective. That's what they experienced and what they thought was the experience that both shared. But when the other person comes and they actually share their side, you go, oh, well, I didn't see it that way, or the way they explained that led me to believe this or that. So I thought it was great to be able to have him come on. And so that's what our plan is. Our plan is that's all right. We are already technically deficient tonight. So our family's going to have to understand. We're working it through tonight. So we were going to get him on. He had a short window anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that we get a lot of time. You'll probably see a video like some of you. They had like 250 views of us setting up and trying to make the sound and the video right last week. So you'll probably get another one of those because we'll be testing it and we're going to make sure that when we come back next week that we'll have it, and that will be Lisa's husband, and we will bring him on, and this is going to be very powerful because we're really hoping that in this process they're both gaining a sense of healing in what they're doing, that they're both going to be at a place where they learn whatever lesson God has for them in this situation, in this moment, in this time.
Absolutely. That's what we're all here to do.
Yeah.
Learn, change, grow.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, hey everyone.
Greg.
I hope that I'm able to. There we go. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. We are having a wonderful time, and I just want to welcome folks. And Al,
Can you show your face, Greg? Did you show your face?
No, not yet.
Not yet. There it is. That's Greg Harris, everybody.
Hey. Can I borrow this mic? I got a mic on the other side. So we have as a, and I know she's not a first timer, but I know that this is like one of the first times that we're saying hello to her, Latoya Francis.
Oh, hey, Latoya.
Latoya.
Welcome.
She said hello.
Our friend from Florida.
Yes. Art Hurst, a biker friend of mine. He's saying hello.
Art.
He's
Good
in
to
the
have
house
you.
again. He also is a repeat. Bria Brooks.
Oh,
lovely
Bria.
young
I like
ladies.
young people coming on, learning
Yes,
how to shape
absolutely.
their relationship.
Mary Merle.
Hey, Mary.
is in the house.
Hey.
So and then we have James Wilson Pollard.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Welcome, James.
Up
Welcome,
in the house.
James.
We want to welcome them.
Yeah, come on.
And-
I'm glad you're here. Thank you for showing.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming.
And have Christine Lyons Williams.
Oh,
Oh,
that's my
my
cousin
goodness,
from North Carolina.
cousin.
Welcome. Come back and make your comments, contribute. We appreciate you being here.
Yes. So we Michael Pullum.
Yep, that's my friend Mike,
Yeah,
another person from
Michael.
Florida. I got Florida connection happening
I
now.
see it.
Andrea Crawley.
Okay, nice.
Hey.
Andrea.
Yeah, so we have a lot. And then the regulars.
Yeah, we got all our
We got
regular
the
people. I already know
We love
Tracy.
you
and-
regulars.
Victoria.
Yeah.
Shayla.
And
Zimmy.
Zimmy. You know what? And I kept thinking that Victoria was Pat, and actually
The
that yeah. No,
Right.
I think, is that her sister or daughter?
No, they're sisters.
Sisters. Okay, yeah, her sister. So hey Victoria, how you doing? How you doing, sweetie? Yes. Who else we got? I know we got Placida and.
You got Teddy Coates.
Oh, Teddy for the
Oh,
first
Teddy
time
there.
coming in. Thank you, Ted, for being here. That's my good
He
friend.
says, "Hey, family."
Yeah, Bank of America, big wig in Bank of America. Hey, Teddy, good having you here, brother.
Yes, and there we go. The family. We
Yeah.
we
Yes.
have at around about 30 or 40 people.
Well,
that come through.
but remember, you got to remember, the only the people who share, who
Right.
actually make a comment,
Right.
come on. People
Get
can be
counted.
watching us right now, and it won't count until after it's
Oh.
all over.
Right.
So what happened last time? We thought we only had like 50 people that were involved, but when we got off, the meter on this Facebook Live said we had almost 400 people
Exactly. Yep.
that showed up and were participating live. Not that they had viewed it,
Right.
but they had actually participated live. So so this is exciting.
I'm trying to see. Does that say Dominique?
Is it say Dominique?
Yes.
Okay.
Roberson.
Oh,
my
that's my
goodness,
goddaughter.
God, baby.
Hey Dominique, how you doing? How you doing, sweetie? And another young person coming in, learning about relationship. That's wonderful, beautiful. So thank you, Greg.
You're welcome.
So we're gonna since we're doing something different than we were going to do. I want to pick up a little bit off of what we did last week and just kind of review
Okay.
about what we talked about. And my wife and both my wife and I had some afterthoughts about this whole
Absolutely.
thing about the mask of anger and the mask of authority. And I also want to talk in this, I want to connect it to one of the skills under what we call the 7 rules of family strengthening. And that rule is that you have to live up to the power of your own choice. Okay? That is very important because a lot of times we don't recognize that we are making choices, and a lot of times what we're doing is we're trying to blame situations, we're trying to blame people, we're trying to blame something other than our own decision to make that choice.
Absolutely.
And so we're not taking the full responsibility. So it really stops us in understanding our process. And again, I always repeat so that you all know, when I talk about process, I'm talking about your intentions, what you are trying to do for yourself. What do you really mean on the inside of yourself? And what are you trying to accomplish whenever you're expressing something or doing something? And then we look at your feelings, we look at your thoughts, and then we look at your behaviors. And if you look at that cycle, if you follow that process, you can understand why you may have acted this way, because you can track it back to what you were thinking, to what you were feeling. And if you can learn how to identify your feelings, and then what were your intentions. And so when you can go either way in the wheel, because it's a circle, you can go either way. You can track where you are. You can start with your feelings and get to your thought and get to your behavior. You can start with your behavior. You can start with your intention.
Right.
So the beautiful thing about understanding your process is that you now can not only understand it for yourself and recognize why you get the way you get, why you respond the way you respond, why you feel the way you feel, why you're thinking a certain way about something. And the beautiful thing is that you can do the same thing for other people.
Exactly.
So you can watch their process and help yourself understand where they are. And maybe sometimes as you get more skillful, help them through their process. Because actually what we're trying to do is to make sure that we're communicating properly as we recognize each other's process.
I think what really happens inside of us, if we really break it down, is if we're in a relationship, could be a parent, a child, doesn't matter.
Right.
When we're having that relationship, we get emotional experiences.
Right.
When we have a pleasant emotional experience, then that's fine. When we don't, then we respond inappropriately sometimes.
Right.
And that's why we spend so much time on anger.
Right.
We spend a lot of time on anger because it is the one that overwhelms all the emotional experiences in the moment.
Yes.
So in the moment, you could feel hurt. In the moment, you could feel insignificant, disrespected.
Right.
It doesn't matter. An unpleasant emotional experience,
Right.
a lot of times can foster this anger.
Right.
So that's why we spend so much time on anger, because it's real important for you to dig deeper than that temporary emotional experience. And then you'll be able to touch the real you, the God you, and bring that forth when you push that anger aside.
You remember last week what I talked about is that what anger does is that anger has this way of overwhelming your senses and overwhelming all the other thoughts and feelings that you have. That's why if you're not careful, that's why the Bible says you can be angry, but don't sin, because anger will easily take you to a place of sin, meaning you will violate, because it will overtake your mind, your thoughts, your feelings. And remember I talked about last week that what happens is that those thoughts and those feelings, so your common sense thoughts and your healthy feelings get pushed down, and they're held down under this weight of anger. And anger is telling you the whole time, you are justified, you are right, you should be doing this, they deserve this. You know what? I've held off. I've been peaceful long enough. I've given them more chances than they deserve.
That's disrespected.
Right. I'm at the end. I'm done. I'm finished. You know. People say like, okay, I'm done. So I'm done with this situation, and it makes you feel justified, because sometimes the behavior of that person does put them in a place where they actually, have done some violating things to you, meaning that what they did might have been really cruddy, been violating. And so, of course, in that situation, your natural response is to return evil for evil.
Yeah.
But of course, the scriptures don't say that.
No.
In fact, it says just the opposite. It says, you do not return evil for evil, but you return evil with good. So you give good in situations when somebody presents evil. Jesus said it this way: if you love everybody who loves you, what credit is that to you? He's like, even
That's easy.
the sinners, the publicans, the murderers, the mafia members, whoever, the crooked people, they all do good to those who do them, that do good to them.
Right.
They all love those who love them. Now, what happens when somebody then does evil, or they, as Jesus says, when somebody spitefully uses you and they persecute you, meaning that they willfully said, I'm trying to hurt you. I'm trying to get over on you. I'm trying to make you know that, yeah, I'm getting you back for whatever I think you did or didn't do, whatever it was. So what do you do when somebody returns evil and they do it spitefully? That's why it's so deep. That's why you have to have the Spirit of God in your life, because let me tell you something. It takes the power of God for you to be able to be at peace and to be okay with responding in a godly manner with true character when somebody is spiteful about using you, because anger is fighting against you, is coming at you, trying to tell you, listen, this chump deserves it. This knucklehead needs me to give them and knock them upside their head. I'm going old school. Knock you upside your head. That's what they need. They need somebody to give them what they need coming to them. Matter of fact, some of y'all roll up your sleeve. Some of them ladies told me they get their Vaseline and
take your earrings out.
Yeah, take your earrings out. They already got it in the pocketbook. Okay, then okay, you don't broke the last camel's back I got. And we feel justified. Anger will justify it. But God says, you know what? Your anger can never accomplish what I want to accomplish in this situation. Because once you overcome that anger, once you get to a place that you actually take authority over that anger, then you will find a lesson for yourself. You will find the blessing of God. God will show you something in that you've never seen before, because you are willing to bring forth his character. Pleasing him and producing his character is more important to you than your anger, than your revenge.
Well, I have a story.
Okay.
We were young in our relationship. And whenever my husband came to me, if he had raised his voice, then I would go off, or I would just not be pleasant. Okay. And never fail, when I would go to pray, God would beat me and send me back to apologize. And the deal was, I could not say anything about what he did.
Ooh.
I had to apologize for what I did and leave his on the table.
Wow.
That was the deal. God would not allow me to address him until I got my act straight. And he shared with me, he is my defense. If I trust that,
right,
then I won't make these errors and have to go back apologizing. And trust me, it was not one time. Nor was it twice. It was a couple times.
Yeah, well, I was right there with you, baby. We were taking turns on that, getting on our knees thing. That altar was worn out.
So I'm just here to tell you that after I stopped, then God could deal with him.
Yeah.
He couldn't deal with him if I'm acting all crazy.
Right.
I had to stop acting that way for him to be able to deal with my husband.
Right. Now, this is what's so powerful. So let me use the story you just gave. So what my wife said, and she said it so kindly, I used to, when I would talk and express myself, and as you can tell now, a lot of you say, man, you talk loud. You like bring it now. Like I came from a family who, when we expressed ourselves and we're just talking, we're talking at the highest decibels that you can find. Like when we're in when people come in to the house where everybody is, and people who know us, we're talking loud, we're shouting, we're making point to point. We're shouting, no. Every point that we're making, but we don't mean no harm to each other, but we're woofing like with each other. So of course, since I grew up that way, I came into my marriage with that same thing. So when I came into my marriage and me and my wife would begin to discuss something and we have some conflict about how we were going to deal with it, I would start woofing, meaning I would get loud. I would get very loud, and I'm like, she's looking at me funny like this. Now, she said that she responds a certain way. Well, you got to understand. Let me tell you the secret. I told you this last week. She's from Brooklyn. And women from Brooklyn don't play. And Placid, I know you doing that. And my niece, my goddaughter, you're doing that. They don't play. When you're from Brooklyn, when somebody raises their voice at you, you are challenging them to a duel. And they don't mean a duel just to see who can beat the other one up. It's a duel to the death.
I need to caveat that with I never put my hands on my husband.
No, she didn't. She didn't. But it felt like she was about to, though, a lot of times. Because she has this thing that she had to tame within herself from how she grew up. So here we are, two people coming to the table with how we grew up. She grew up Brooklyn, fight you in a minute. You don't ever want to fight my wife. You're going to lose every time. I'll tell you right now. That's why I won't fight. I would never fight her. Even if my mindset would go crazy enough to do that. Lord. And she, where she came from, you go for the kill. You don't just fight just to try to get past or by. See, the way I grew up is that you want to fight enough so you can get away. They don't get away. They pursue you until you're down. So anyway, she had that coming, and I had this very loud, very kind of argumentative, have to make a point. Everybody's laughing. I see all these faces. They're cracking up on our Facebook Live, folks. They're cracking up. But this is true. I'm just being real. So I was talking to her in a way. And guess what? In retrospect, I look at it and I can see how not only was it loud to her, but it also must have felt disrespectful. And it must have seemed to her that I didn't have control of myself because I was really talking. And sometimes my veins would pop in my head and I would get so loud and trying to express myself and make my point. And my point was more important than my principle.
Right. I when I look back, you didn't even look like yourself when you were in that mode. His family's still that way. And after 20 some years now, I'm like that too. You come to our house, we're just yelling.
But not as loud as it was back then, though.
Yeah.
But my point, what I was trying to do became more important than the principle that God had given me.
Absolutely.
And here's the principle that we have I'm connecting it to for Advice for Life. When you are in those situations, and I'm going to connect the thread all the way back to anger. When you are in those situations, it is so easy for us to say in any relationship, that's the way I am.
Oh.
You have to accept me for how I am. And I said it too. That's what I said to her. I said, look, this is how my family was. I grew up this way. You have to accept me for who I am. Okay. Let's break that down a little bit. So if somebody truly accepts you for who you are, then that means what you're saying to them is that I am not willing to change. I'm not going to change. In fact, you need to accept who I am and where I am. In fact, you're telling that person, God is not even going to change me because this is who I am.
I'm not growing.
No,
I'm not learning anything.
Right.
I'm stuck right here.
I'm stuck right here. Now what I always say is if you are not growing, you're dying. Mm-hmm. That's the principle in life. You have to continually be growing and evolving and going to the next level. And if you're not, you're going backwards and you're actually fading and you're dying off. So it is really an excuse for you to say that this is the way I am. You have to accept me the way I am. So in the principle that I'm giving to you, live up to the power of your own choice. Listen to what I'm saying with that. Live up to the power of your own discretion, of your own choice. Mm-hmm. That means you have a choice about how you respond. You have a choice about whether you're willing to grow and come out of your comfort level. You have a choice to determine that, hey, I have to work on myself every day. And if God sends a person in my life, especially if you're married, especially if you have children will do that every time. Children are going to show you.
Oh, yeah.
yourself. And they'll show you what you need to be. You have to be in a place where you're willing to live up to the power. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. To the power of your own choice. Nobody can make you do anything. So my wife, I would say to her a lot of times, well, if you wouldn't, because, you know, she could be a little rough. So when she would say something rough, that made me feel like I had to raise my voice more for her to hear me. So I would use the excuse that she was rough as a reason for why I was raising my voice. So now I'm giving permission to myself. Again, I'm giving permission. I'm justifying that mask of justification that because she did this, I can make the choice to do this. And I was not really owning to really the power of my own choice.
Absolutely. But, you know, the really great thing about it is that we were willing to grow.
Right.
We were always willing to grow.
Right.
And we got through it because we were willing to be obedient.
Yes.
We were willing to be obedient and hear each other's heart.
Yes.
And even in the midst of me apologizing to you, you graciously accepted my apology all the time. And I would still be, you know, giving you the stink eye sometime. But whenever the stink eye came up, I would always go and get him something, buy him something, or think of things that he would enjoy to change the spirit of the matter so that I could get out of being angry. And I think that that is a testimony to how the Holy Spirit can lead you
Right.
into peace of being at peace with one another. It could be a simple thing, like making a sandwich.
Right.
I'm going to eat something. You want something to eat?
Right.
It could be simple.
Or the person going to make something, the other person mad. You didn't ask me whether I wanted something to
See,
eat.
oh no. Yeah, see. Just always considering
Right.
the other. And I always knew that that was not your heart. Your heart and your intent was not to hurt me.
Right.
I did know that.
Right. Well, you taught me, and you said something repeatedly, and you said, baby, I am not against you. I am not trying to hurt you.
I'm on your side.
I'm on your side. And so I know that sounds very simple, but that was very empowering. Like, it helped me identify my mask. You see the mask right here? Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch the mask right?
Oh, my green cup is ruining that.
That's right. That little mask that's here. Like, we got the little mask here. You see the yeah, so you love that. So she was able to help me with those words, recognize that I was being defensive and I was taking offense to that. And I was not really recognizing that my decision to talk very loudly and verbosely, is that the right word? Verbosely, to my wife. Verbose. Okay, I was right, because I usually say words wrong and she helps me. and it also can seem like I didn't ever apologize to her. I did apologize to her too. So this is a dual process that happened. But it really could have, gotten to a place where, I could have just held on to this place that, hey, I'm making this choice to raise my voice because my wife is doing X, Y, and Z. And I thank God that I learned this axiom that we have in family strengthening, and from Advice for Life, we're saying that you live up to the power of your own choice. Now, this is what you really have to connect to. Like, we have every day we get a chance to make choices, and there are consequences to our choices.
Absolutely.
There's outcomes to our choices. And so we should be examining our choices every day. So if we're not growing in any other area, we should be growing in our commitment and our desire to look at our choices. Now, our choices play themselves out in how our behavior comes. And as you said earlier, Aisha, we usually don't pay attention to the outcomes unless they displease us. Because if we do something and it pleases us, it doesn't matter to us what the process was. We got what we wanted.
Right. That was good.
That's right. And that may not be healthy, because if you have an outcome that you think pleases you and you haven't examined even that process, what you may begin to do is build up habits unbeknownst to yourself. There's people who their outcome might be, let's say, to relax at the end of the day, to just chill, right? And let's say that they have a liberty where they believe they can have a glass of wine or something at the end of the day with their meal, whatever. And they just, they get you. Their outcome is that they got relaxed. But then after a while, that one glass of wine ain't gonna do it for you. Okay, now, you had one glass, but that ain't doing it no more. So now you up at the 2. Okay, you still in the doctor. If you told the doctor I have 2 glasses of wine a day, he's not gonna raise the red flag. But then when you take it, and now every time you're inebriated, you're taking 5, 6, 7 glasses of wine, the whole bottle, because you're trying to get that outcome of being relaxed, and you didn't watch your process. You end up in something that you did not even calculate. Mm-hmm. So it is so important that you look at your processing. Again, when you have a behavior, when you have an outcome, you have to think about the thoughts that you had. Mm-hmm. What are my thoughts behind? What am I thinking around this situation? And then you have to go back and then look at your feelings. Remember, I told you that importance about understanding that connection between your thoughts and your feelings. Most people mix together their thoughts and feelings. Most people don't separate their thoughts and feelings. Most people, if you listen to them talk and you ask them how they feel, they'll say, I feel like every time so-and-so says this, and so they'll say, I feel like, or I feel that the way this country is going, that it's really not set up properly and doesn't have proper justice for everyone. Like people, you ask them how they feel, they'll begin to rattle off words. I feel like, or I feel that. And so what that does is that enmeshes their thoughts and feelings together. And usually the winner is your thoughts, because thoughts are really, they come forth from your words. You're speaking and you're describing, you're actually talking out your thoughts. And so your thoughts went out and your feelings lose. And what happens with most people is that their feelings get suppressed. And you don't really ever learn how to say your feelings. That's why I emphasize to you, I tell you over and over again, if you want to get to your feeling level, you say one word, right?
Exactly.
I feel depressed. I feel unappreciated. I feel rejected, right?
Yeah, I think what happens in most people's lives, they don't really understand that that's what's happening, is they get addicted to, just like you were describing the wine, that's a process of addiction.
Right.
They get addicted to being angry. They get addicted to being violent, or whichever emotional status, complaining.
Right.
There are people who are addicted to complaint.
Because it all works for them.
Nothing is ever okay.
Right.
Okay. These are addictive personality types that you can find everywhere.
Right.
I mean, everyone has their little vice.
Yes.
It might not be wine. It might not be some kind of illicit substance, but complaining, never happy. Victim.
Talk about
I'm the victim. No matter what, you could bring me home a piece of bread and I'd be like, man, you could have asked me if I wanted bread. I don't wanted a donut. I'm saying, why you treat me like this?
Yeah, that victimization is
they
something.
turn anything into a victim seat, and we get addicted to that kind of thought processing.
Right.
And it always has to change. We have to really rise up in our lives a standard that we desire to live by. Everybody should have that standard.
I think so too. I think standards are important. I want you to. You see, she holds back sometimes. I just want you to take just a couple of those, and because I'm just going to be quiet because I talk all the time. I just want to be quiet and want you to talk a little bit about either the victim or the what was the other one you said, the complaint or whatever one you want to pick. Just give us a little bit about those masks right there. Okay.
Well, I think they're both like a codependent type of thing. When you're a victim, you always select someone that's going to be abusive. They're going to be verbally abusive, and you're going to stick it out so that you can tell everybody they treat me bad, but I love them so much.
Right.
So you can stay in your victim seat. You can't stay in that victim seat unless somebody's victimizing you, and it has to be the type of victimization that everybody else would recognize.
Right.
It has to be that way. So they're going to either verbally abuse you or they're going to physically abuse you, and you're going to select them without even knowing that you're doing it on purpose.
You give
You're going to select them without even knowing you're doing it on purpose.
Right.
Because you are emotionally connecting to what they're giving you. You know emotionally and you know spiritually that person is going to victimize you, and you feel real comfortable in that seat. You do not want to get up out of your victim seat. It's the same kind of thing that happens with Munchausen syndrome. Munchausen syndrome is a syndrome that has the parent actually causing the child to be ill so that they can be in the victim seat.
Right.
The parent is in the victim seat. I don't know how you're putting up. You're such a good parent. Oh, I don't know if I could deal with sick babies.
Right.
So they're actually causing the child to be sick so that they can get the type of attention that they actually emotionally crave. And that is exactly what happens with persons that are staying in the victim seat in their relationships. It could be parental is Munchausen syndrome, but in other relationships, it's codependence. It is sitting right there, and you select it over and over again. You leave this one and you choose another one.
Right.
They might not have the same thing, but they got something else that they're doing wrong that you're able to be victimized.
Yes.
And when will you stand and raise up a standard and change your own spirit and your own heart about who you allow in your life?
Right.
About how you treat the people in your life. Because they need somebody that's going to take care of everything.
Right.
A person who is in a codependent relationship normally the abuser has someone who's taking care of everything, even though they're being abusive.
Right.
Even though they're being abusive, they're still getting taken care of.
And it could be verbal abuse.
Verbal abuse, emotional
it could be
abuse,
economic abuse. Sitting home on the couch and
I don't
letting
know.
somebody take care of them.
I don't know what that is. That's definitely financial abuse. Yeah, that's taking advantage of someone right there. You don't work, you don't eat.
That's right. That's what the scriptures say.
Standard. Got to have the standard.
Man, don't work, you shouldn't eat bread. That's what I'm saying. You got to make bread to eat bread. You don't make bread, you shouldn't eat bread.
Oh, but I know. I've had a couple of friends that have had relationships where the person that they're in relationship with is sitting home while they are asleep, while they get up and go to work.
Right.
That person does absolutely nothing but mess up the house while they're gone.
Right.
They come home from work, clean up that mess, and then cook.
You messing now, baby.
Wash clothes.
You messing with somebody. As that preacher said, they don't like you now.
Where's the standard? Where's the standard? What are you doing? Not even married. I mean,
no commitment.
No, you got nothing. You
got the commitment,
right?
You're committed.
But then you can sit in the victim seat when you do stuff like that.
Right.
I tried. I just love him, so I can't put him out because, he don't have no place to go. And so I have to help him. And I'm saying, really?
So that's so powerful because really you're really giving us vivid reflections and examples about living up to the power of our choice, because that is a choice. And if you don't examine your choices, it's hard for you to change. And you have to examine your choices by understanding your process.
Absolutely.
Looking at your intentions, your thoughts, your feelings, your behavior. And you have to look at other people's process. And when you begin to be in a place where you become a master at seeing process and then getting the skills, that's what we do here at Advice for Life. We're giving you the skills that you need that are necessary for you to respond. So that, you give a person a couple mirrors and says, okay, so you're comfortable, taking care of a person like they're your child.
Right.
I mean,
I like that. Like they're your child.
Like you're your child. And you feel okay with the fact that you're the only person working in the household and bringing home what's necessary. And the other person, is comfortable with you cooking, cleaning, and doing all the other things as well. So it seems like it must be working for you. Right. Because how did Dr. Phil say? He said,
"How's that working?
For you?" Uh-huh. So choice is so important for you to examine and understand. We're going to do some more with choice, but we're running close near the end of our time because I need to get our comments in. I saw Ayana come in as well.
Yes.
But I just want to say this one scripture that is really important. It was on my heart as it relates to choice. Jesus said this. This is how powerful it is. He said, didn't I choose you 12? And despite that, isn't one of you a devil?
Wow.
He said, I chose you 12, but in spite of that, one of you're a devil. So he was talking about Judas, and he knew, and this is what's so powerful. Jesus knew it from the foundation of the earth, but he still chose him. But he was trying to show us that when we make choices, whether we know know what the implications are, we don't know what the implications are, there's a powerful lesson in it. And he gave Judas the purse strings. He actually put him in a place where he would handle the money. Who in the world gives money to the person that you've identified as the devil?
Right.
I mean, who does that?
Excuse me.
Jesus did. So sometimes be careful. Sometimes you can't react and get angry with everything that happens, because maybe God is giving you a chance to think about the situation and look at it. He let Judas sit at the table and eat with him, and eat this out of the same plate with him, because he was basically saying, I know who you are. I'm just waiting for the right time, for the appointed time.
Timing is everything.
You taught me that, baby.
Timing is everything.
So since timing is everything, we're running out of time. So I want to say some shout outs to my Facebook family. And Greg, any comments, if you can give us what people are saying?
Oh yeah, people have been saying a lot.
Okay, good.
People have been saying a lot, and so so we got, and I ain't got my glasses. So Ayana says, live up to the power of your own choice. No choice, no voice.
Ooh,
No choice,
nice.
It's about
voice.
relationship, or it's waste of time.
Yes. No choice, no voice. I love that, Ayana. No
wow,
choice,
I
no
can see.
voice.
Yes.
Or some people do voice, and they really display what their real choice that they made. So when you speak, out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth speaks. So you made a choice. It just may not be a choice that you are conscious about or that you are proud of.
Tabitha shares, I won't hurt you with the words from my mouth.
Hey,
I know that's
Tabitha,
right.
good to see you. I love my young people coming in. Her mom's birthday was this week. I shouted out to her.
Awesome. And Art, he shared, when you both believe and understand that your mate is not your enemy, then you're able to move into new dimensions of openness towards each other.
Yes, yes.
I didn't get that until at about 23rd year of marriage with my
I'm
wife.
23 now. I'm glad you got it though, son.
Thank God he walked us through it.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
And then he followed up with that and said, oh, Mercy, I absolutely hated dealing with my feelings. I'm too logic minded.
Okay.
There it is. I'm too logic minded.
Let me touch that real quick. So that is what is natural in a lot of men, is that because we're processing from a logical reasoning standpoint, that we can use that as an excuse for not getting in touch with our feelings. And in fact, the society has actually reinforced that by making men feel like they're somehow less of a man because they have feelings, or because they express their feelings, or they even deal with the emotional level. That has been, kind of brought on to men. And I, as I've said over and over again, if you're a man and you do not have an ability to get in touch with your feelings, if you're not able to express your feelings, and you're afraid to express your feelings because you believe it's going to do something to your manhood, then what I'm saying to you is that is a true definition of insecurity. That means you are insecure. You're not secure in yourself enough to know that being in touch and being authentic about your feelings is really coming from a person who's secure, a person who knows themselves, as opposed to the other way around.
And we know it's a mask too.
Right,
so.
it's a mask. Yeah.
Right. Tracy says it's tricky to figure the math around how long to give a relationship with a person.
Tracy did not say that to the math. Tricky around this
The
girl and her
math. Okay.
math.
Tell me what she said.
She says, when a person says, I'm just like that naturally, but I'm trying. Because after years go by, you feel like that person does not have a principle or emphasis on the relationship. And furthermore, you start to feel like you are compromising your own principles if you keep staying inside of that cycle.
Right.
So when you do hold that person accountable for their choice, and how much of a conscious choice is behavior connected to a behavior like anger, Even the law gives passes on things like crimes of passion. Think about it. That's what
Well,
Tracy said.
The scriptures clearly say, do not associate yourself with a man given to anger. It
Right.
says, do not associate yourself with a man given to anger or with a man that has a hot temper.
That's man or woman.
Right, mankind that has a hot temper, or you will learn his ways and find yourself in a snare. So don't associate yourself with a man given to anger. If they refuse to change, then you will find yourself in a snare.
Let me respond to that, because Tracy's one of our regulars here. This is our soul relationship therapy that we have among ourselves, but we're really learning lessons that are valuable for our lives and improving our lives. So the scenario she brought up was a person is saying they're going to change, or they're trying to change, but they continue to be in the same thing. And her statement was, and I'm paraphrasing, well, after you do that for a while, you feel like that you begin to violate your principles by dealing with it. And then where it brings you to is that now you end up being angry, and even people that there's a pass for crimes of passion. She said, Tracy, are you really trying to give an excuse that you can really take somebody out of this earth for a
I think
compromise?
she was talking about the other person and their anger. When the person is given to anger, they have laws that allow people to get away with fits of anger.
Yeah, but the point is if you live up to the power of your own choice, that person's making a choice to do what they're doing. And so it doesn't matter if somebody says that they're trying. That's why we have to use our skills and reflect to people. And then let's say that a year goes by and they're saying, well, I'm trying to do this, and says, I've been waiting this last year, as we've talked about it this last year, and I see you trying. I see that you're trying, but at some point, we have to make a step. And so let's talk about how we can make a step. Maybe we don't get all the way to the finish line, but let's make a step. So I'm going to validate them for trying, but I'm also going to give them something to help them see that we have to make a step. We have to make progress in a certain direction. So,
well, a metaphor came to my brain.
Right.
It's like a person that was formerly an axe murderer, and they say they have done with that. They've done their time. They've changed.
I'm trying to be better. No, I'm trying to.
But
be
they
better.
can't walk around with the axe.
Right.
No more. They
Right.
can't walk around with an axe anymore. Now you might
That's
be able
right.
to have an axe,
Right.
but they can't walk around saying how they've changed with the axe.
Exactly.
Why you got an axe?
So-
Oh, don't worry. I don't do anything with it anymore.
So
I'm rehabilitated.
so I appreciate you trying. I just don't want you to bring the axe.
Right.
I want you to put the axe down. Let's try without the axe. How about that?
Yeah, let's put that
Let's
axe
try
down.
without axe. Without that. Look at the people are laughing. All this hilarious stuff. So who's next, Greg?
Oh, what I do with my glasses, and I turn my volume down.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
because you're
I know.
gonna be on the radio.
Yeah. Ayana says we have to remember we need to be able to relate right. Al, it's a relationship. Work through it together.
Yes. Yes.
But Tracy was like, she was at questions. She was like, really?
We'll
You
get back
can't,
to that.
you can't do that.
We'll get back to that.
Right. And Dorothy said, change is constant and trying is part of the process
That's right.
until we
That's
die.
right. Yep. Change is part of the process. It's part of the growth of life. Like
Yes.
I just know me and my wife made a commitment that we were going to commit it to nothing else is to hear each other, because God sent her in my life for me to change and be who I'm supposed to be. And he sent
You in
me
my life.
in your life so you could be who you were called to be. And so to us, that's why you heard us talk previously about date night, and the people that know us know that that's sacred to us, because we do date night because that's part of our process to really not only kind of enrich what we're doing with each other, but it sets us up for the times that we have to have those hard conversations, because no matter what people think, we say people know we've been married for 23 years. They know we love each other. They know we respect each other, that we speak well of each other, but we still have those tough conversations. Like we have those times where we are just trying to, utilize all that we've learned and all that we know to make sure that we come out with a healthy result in our relationship.
Marianne Fallen says hello.
Hey, Marianne. And Roanoke, Virginia.
Yes.
Yes.
Dorothy she said, I had it here. Dorothy, she said, no, right. She was making a point how, there it is. Emotions carry addictive chemicals in your body. Absolutely. Once habits become habitual.
That's good.
That's true.
Yep. They're actually when you are in your process. That's why understanding your process is so important. It engraves and produces things in your mind, in your psyche. Your body begins to respond a certain way. Our bodies are very intelligent. I just saw someone post something on Facebook, and Greg gave it a thumbs up, so I know he saw it too. And basically, the young man had a lot of blood transfusions, and he needed. And she found out that in order to do chelation of the iron buildup in his body, she found out that lemon rinds and lemon products were really a healthy, natural way to help that chelation process to get that extra iron out. Now, what she correlated was that her son, when he knew nothing about this and she knew nothing about it, after he was always craving lemons. He wanted lemons, and he would make his own. He would take his time to make his own lemonade, and he wanted lemon cookies, and everything was lemon, and that was really his body. That's what God put in him, that innate intelligence to say, this is what you need. I'm going to make you crave it so that you can be healed and be helped until you can figure out what I'm trying to give you to deal with this. And it's the same thing as we work through our communication processes, as we look at how we respond on all those levels, on the feeling level, all the levels that we look at those so that we can enact some natural things that God will bring forth. So when you joining as we've talked to you about it, you got to go to my podcast, which is advice, the number 4, life.us. I have 70 shows on there, and I've talked about these things in detail. So some of those things you'll hear me talk about it on the Facebook Live, but I'm telling you, you're going to get a much better sense if you go on the podcast. And I need everybody here, all of you who are following, I need you to listening. I need you to follow. I need you to go on my page and just select and become a follower. What that does is that's going to set you up to always get notifications when the program comes on. As soon as it comes on, you will be notified. And when I start doing these special insights that I'm going to begin to do, you will get those special insights that won't go out to other people. So I want you to build it up now. Try to get to it. Again, follow me on Facebook and go under Outlaws and just follow me. Again, I'm going to say this again. You have to share, because it's fair. If you enjoyed this, if you're getting something out of this, I'm not passing no plates. I'm not asking you to send money. Oh, stay tuned. We have this special message, and I'm asking you to send me money so we can continue this program. No, I'm just asking you to promote it, to share it. So if you can share and you reshare, if you're just as vigilant about letting people know and putting it out there about what this program does, if it's blessing you, I'm just asking you to share it. Put it out to other people and let them know that you're getting something from Advice for Life. So, and I lost my last thought. Did I interrupted myself?
You did.
I interrupted myself. I interrupted myself. And so where was I at? I was talking about... I can't remember. I know what I was leading to, and what I was leading to is that we have to be in a place that we respect and understand our process so we can, at the end of the day, have healthy relationships. And here at Advice for Life, if you begin to listen to the principles, you will be able to become skilled. You'll become an expert in your own relationship process. And that's really our goal. Our heart is that you learn how to become better in all your relationships. I don't care if it's the relationship with your boss.
Right.
I don't care if the relationship with your fellow employees. I don't care if you have employees and you need to respond differently to your employees. I don't care if it's about you and your mother-in-law, your sisters, your brother. Let's say, because some of you, let me say this just came up in my spirit. There's some people that have somebody that they love in their life, but there is an offense that has come up. They both got angry about something. They both did something that wasn't right, or that person offended you in a certain way. And in your heart, you really love that person, but you have decided to just keep yourself away from them.
Oh, pride.
And this really happens a lot
Yeah.
with parents, that people will get to a place where they will remove themselves from their parents, or they'll kind of take a position where they're kind of like, I'll just deal with them if they really need me, if it's an emergency. No, I'm saying no. I'm saying that you can have fulfilling and healthy relationships with people, and you have to learn the skills to do that. And I'm telling you, if you stay with us, if you listen to the podcast, if you continue to be with us, we'll teach you those things as we go forward. We're running out of time. Remember, we're dealing with the mask in relationships, and we're using that as a metaphor. This is Al Laws, your host for Advice for Life, and my wife,
Hello.
Aisha. Y'all give her a thumbs up and give her some hearts. She's very powerful. We love you guys. Thank you, Greg, for being our what do they call that? What do they call that person that is on the show? You're a hype man, but you're also a hype man. But who's the person?
Hype man.
I don't know, the person who is
The announcer?
they're the announcer, but like
MC?
MC, what does Steve Harvey? What do they call Steve Harvey when he comes out?
A master of ceremony.
Master, okay,
That's
master
the
ceremony.
MC,
Yeah, okay. You're the MC, Greg, and
Roger
you're the
that.
hype man. So you're
Roger that.
hyping us up. All the hearts, the thumbs up. Thank you for your love. Y'all have been great. Remember, share when you get done. Share as many times as you can.
Blessings to y'all.
I want 100 shares now. You gave me 70. I need 100 shares at least. I should get 200 because I know that there's over 400. We might have had 500 people here tonight. I need at least 100. I'm shooting for 2, but I'll take the 100. They're laughing. They're together. Thank you for being such a wonderful Facebook audience. You guys are the best. You give the best comments. We love you, and we will see you next week every Tuesday at 8:30. I'm saying ish because sometimes we have problems, but we're going to work out those problems and try to make sure that we are here at 8:30. You guys are the best. We love you. God bless you.
Good night.
Good night.
You got it.